Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I put a pound of lean ground beef here. I took one of those Colorado fluff biscuits, crumbled it up in here because I had two left, and I added salt and pepper, and I'm going to add an egg to this. You know that butter I made that's made of whiskey? This is going to be it. We're going to use this on this today because I'm just making simple patties because I have leftover potatoes and gravy that I had made, and I have leftover yams, so I'm going to be using leftovers with this, so I'm just going to make it a little on the easy side today. And I'm going to use something most people don't do. I'm going to take some of this butter and I'm literally going to work it in to the ground meat. I guess about 2 tablespoons. I'm also going to cook with it so it's not going to waste. About 2 tablespoons. I'm going to work this in with my hands, warm it up, and just work it in. Because I'm going to cook it in this butter as well as have some of this butter in here to give it some flavor. And then I'm going to let it sit because the butter is going to have to melt a little more, so I can make sure it worked completely in. So I might let it sit for about 30 minutes because I have a few pieces like this that I want to melt. Though I'm working it with my hands, I want to make sure it's well melted. So sometimes when you have leftovers and you only have a serving for one, you don't throw it out. One person can have that, another person can have something else, and this way you don't waste the food. The more you become creative with your food, the less waste you have. And if you do have some waste of vegetables or peelings and stuff, then you don't cook them, you can cook them down as a stock and then take, after you squeeze all the juice and everything out of it, what you can do next is you can sit there and bury it in your yard and feed your yard. And if you have pets, well, cats are very good at eating fish bones, and dogs are very good at eating bones except for pork. So that would eliminate more waste. The biggest waste you'll have is the plastic because they wrap everything in plastic. And yet they're telling us to cut back on our plastic. How can I cut back on my plastic if the store keeps on putting everything in plastic? Now you can see a few pieces of butter haven't quite melted, so I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then I'll be back working it in. That's what I'm going to have to wait for. I got to find a clean finger. Pause the phone. Hold on a minute. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I can really smell, you can smell it in here now. So 2 tablespoons to a pound gives a nice smell to your meat. Just gonna make sure that butter is all melted. Definitely want to get some steaks and try this butter out on it. I am going to make some patties. Now I made some breadcrumbs and I showed you how I made them. I have them here. I'm going to use these homemade breadcrumbs. I used the whole grain bread that I made. That's why mine are darker. You can see how much darker they are. See, I'll show you. See? should make them in a Salisbury shape. We have a lot of snow today. I'm going to be out there showing most of the day. Dang. Not something I'm looking forward to, but I'll make fun of it. Sometimes you have to make fun when you're working, or you can go insane. This butter that we made with Jack Daniels is a strong butter. It's got strong flavor. Just letting you know. If you haven't tried it yet, it is strong. And if you're unaccustomed to strong flavors, you might not like it as much. But I am going to add some oil to the Jack Daniels butter that I'm going to be cooking them in. And I don't want to burn these, so I have to be careful. Now when your meat gets a hard crust on it, but, oh come on. When you cook it so it sort of gets burnt while you're frying up hamburger patties or Salisbury steaks. So what I'm going to do is by putting them in the breadcrumbs will get toasty, but I won't be, you know, basically overcooking the meat. That's about a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to put in with the oil. By the way, this is lean beef. That was all they had out at the time. I knew this was going to smell good. Now, if you grill steaks, you could take this butter and spread it on those steaks when they come off the grill. And I think that would be good. That's just a personal opinion. I just think it'd be really good. But today is basically leftovers. What I have in the refrigerator, I'm going to make it work. Now I have a yellow squash and a green squash. Now this one is the Spanish squash, but I'm going to cook both of these together for a nice color contrast. I'm not going to cook at a really high heat because I don't want these to burn. They're going to cook very, very nicely. Cook them to your point of doneness. Some people like them medium, some people like them well done. So just cook them to your point. So see, if I have a little bit of rice left over, or a little bit of mashed potatoes or something, not everybody's gonna get the same starch, or the same vegetables, there's some left over. And that's what's gonna happen today. Now, for that 1796 rice pudding that I made, I didn't make it real sweet because at that time they didn't say I shouldn't, but I wasn't gonna have it bland either. So what I did was I whipped up some whipped cream, and I'm actually gonna put some whipped cream on top of it and serve it like that. And I sweeten the whipped cream to my taste as well. So this way it'll take some of that unsweetened taste, because I only added a little bit of sugar to it to carry it. But if you want yours without the whipped cream and you want it sweeter, just add more sugar to the recipe for you. But there's another one that they have that is made with other things that I want to try. This one, I have to just get to the liquor store. And yes, there's liquor in this other one I want to make, and I can't wait to get my hot little hands on that recipe and work it. And we'll see how that one comes out. So let me fry these up carefully, and I'll show you when they're done.
Let me show you what they look like. You see how nice they are? Don't they look nice? It's not always that you have the hottest heat. It's just that you have it right. Now when I go to do the other one, I might have to sit there and add more butter and oil to the pot because it's frying up the last one. But this is what they look like. This is how they're going to be served.